Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. We're just going to give people a few minutes to log on here. Just hang with us for a little bit, and then we will be getting started very shortly. Just bear with us a few more minutes, guys. Just going to allow people to keep logging on in. We'll get started around 12:03, 12:04. All right, welcome to all the people that are logging in. We are just getting started. Can you go back to the first slide? Sorry. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Just giving people a chance to log in. We're going to get started about 3 minutes after. All right, so we are about that time. So hello, everyone, and welcome. Thanks for joining our webinar, Accelerate Revenue with AI-Driven Sales Insights with Sugar CRM. My name is Josette, the marketing leader here at Faye, and I'm excited to kick off today's event. Before we get started, just want to cover a quick housekeeping item. At the end of the session, we'll conduct a short Q&A. If you have any questions during the webinar, please type them into the questions or in the chat window, and we'll address them at the end in the order they were received. Any questions we don't have time for during the live broadcast, we'll be sure to address them after the presentation via email or a quick chat. Now let's quickly go through the agenda. So we're going to be starting off with a little bit of introduction to let us know who we are and get you guys familiar with Faye and Sales Ice and Sugar. We're going to talk about some key challenges and trends impacting sales that we really feel like you should be aware of. We're going to talk about AI guided selling. We're going to cover some, firsthand testimonials and some stories from Sales Eye users. And then, of course, we're going to end with a live demonstration of the revenue intelligence tool and wrapping up with some live Q&A at the end. All right, so we have two great speakers lined up for you today. Kevin McGirl is the president of Sales Intelligence Software at Sales Eye, a Sugar CRM solution. Kevin has been at the forefront of major trends in the software industry for more than 20 years. A business strategist and a market development specialist, Kevin is the driving force behind Sales Eye's go-to-market and business development strategy in wholesale, manufacturing, and distribution. Kaleb Dague is an account executive at Faye, specializing in Sugar CRM solutions. With extensive experience in CRM implementation and optimization, Kaleb helps businesses streamline their sales processes, enhancing customer engagement and drive growth through using Sugar effectively. His expertise in integrating CRM strategies with marketing automation enables clients to create cohesive, customer-centric approaches that maximize their CRM investment and boost overall productivity. With that said, I'll turn it over to Kaleb to get us started.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Josette. And thanks everyone for taking the time to be with us today. We have two slides to go over on Faye itself and one on Sales Eye. Then we'll jump into the meat and potatoes of the presentation today. But for those of you who do not know who Faye is as a company, so Faye is the largest Sugar CRM partner in the world. So we've actually been the top partner with Sugar for about the past 4 years. And we have been an elite partner with Sugar for about 15 years or so. I've been working with Sugar for 10 years plus. I love the platform, love how easy it is, love how you can really do anything with it. As a company, our tagline is "Some eat steak, we eat software." So what this really means is that we do work with a lot of different software vendors that are out there. And really our goal is to just help you get the most out of the system that you are using. Go to the next slide, Kevin. So we do more than just sugar here. Just wanted to call that out. So we do help our customers with that entire customer journey. So if you think about it, it is really everything from kind of that top of the funnel. So from the marketing side of things, and generating the overall content, to managing the CRM. So on the CRM side, managing everything from the leads that are coming in to converting them into opportunities, to turning them into customers, managing your pipeline, your forecasting, and all of that. And then once they do become customers, we do help with managing that entire customer experience. So making sure that you're keeping your customers happy, you're staying in front of them, and you're keeping them as repeat customers. Okay, so we do work with a number of vendors across the CRM and CX space. And one of our sweet spots here as well are integrations. So typically, a lot of our customers will come to us, integrate the CRM, the platform to a project or an accounting system or any system. We have a lot of experience across a number of different iPaaS solutions to integrate data between the systems to really make sure that everything's streamlined, make sure that everything is efficient as the two systems or multiple systems are talking to one another. Lastly, to kind of wrap up this slide, we do have a managed service offering here at Faye, which is really designed, again, to just help our customers get the most out of whatever system that they're using. So if you're using any of the systems that are on this page, we do have Axia by Faye, which gives you access to an iPaaS solution for integrations, as well as a certain number of hours that you can actually use each quarter with your implementation team and your ongoing consulting team. Again, just to make sure that you're getting the most out of your investment in technology. Okay, so that's a quick background on Faye as a company. I'll let Kevin take it to the next slide.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks, Caleb, for the introduction there. So yeah, just set the scene before we jump into a demo and we start to look at what's really going on here in the world of data and intelligent account management, as we defined it earlier. We're going to be really focusing in here on a key business problem that most manufacturers and distributors have, which is their sales reps need data to be successful. They need to analyze customers' buying behavior and buying patterns, but they're often not data guys, and they're often overwhelmed or don't have the time, which is often selling time, to actually spend hours analyzing customers' data using BI tools or spreadsheets. So most salespeople are either doing one of two things: they're either spending too much time preparing, or zero, where they're actually just winging it and going in and talking about sports and the weather and hoping they can sell something. So we're trying to solve for that problem so that the salesperson can identify cross-sells, upsells, gaps in the customer, any erosion of product categories, making that really simple for a salesperson to be fully informed when they go and make their sales calls. Caleb, I know you've got a number of customers in the sector. I mean, again, if you experience similar things with your customers in terms of sales reps in particular being sort of overwhelmed by data or not having the time to dig into it.
Yeah, we have. I mean, let's face it. I mean, I'm a sales rep myself. I just like to keep things simple. I don't like to do a lot of work. And I do have a lot of customers where I do speak to their sales managers. And really, it's hard enough to get a sales team to use a CRM in general. That's why sometimes adoption is very low within CRM implementations. So making your sales reps kind of have to use a CRM and then giving them all of this data to analyze it and then take actions on it. Let's be serious. It's probably not going to happen. So really, what we're trying to do with Sales Eye here and what we're going to kind of show throughout this presentation is just to try to make your reps to be a little bit more reactive, a little bit more proactive. So instead of just waiting for things to come to them, giving this data in a nice, easily consumable fashion for your sales reps to kind of reach out to their customers and be able to help them as part of the process.
Yeah, and what we certainly found, we show this in the demo, is that the key is to push, not pull. So to push it to the rep, so they haven't got to go into systems, go searching for information, and just to basically serve it up. And we'll see that during the demo piece. And clearly, the markets we're serving here, which is manufacturing, wholesale distribution, are always under pressure. Those are tough markets by default, but there's a lot of headwinds now hitting a number of industries continually right now, and certainly a lot of economic issues still out there. And obviously we've got in the US here in particular, we've got an election cycle coming, which always causes some disruption in most supply chains, or slowing down of buying behaviors. But we're seeing definitely, I'm going to try to focus on all these issues today, but we're going to perhaps pick out a couple of key concerns here, which is the sales rep is definitely less welcome than it used to be. The days of going in and spending hours talking sports and stuff with the buyer, that really changed following the pandemic, and buyers' behavior has changed, and they're acting more like consumers. They're buying in B2B in the same way they buy at home, which actually often involves less interest in talking to a sales rep. So we're going to touch on some of these technology pieces today, but really we're here to solve business problems and to maximize our value as salespeople when we're in front of a buyer. That's going to be a key thing today. Again, I assume you're seeing similar stuff kind of out there in the market. People having issues or still concerns about the economy and the way buyers are behaving right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a new type of buyer out there. I mean, people really don't want to be sold. So I mean, we do live in this day and age where everyone can kind of pick up their cell phone and they can go to the nearest computer and they can start to research things on their own, instead of talking to a sales rep. So I think what we're going to show kind of later on in this is just how to really, combat that, and really equip our sales reps with as much information as we can to make those conversations just much more helpful to the overall buyer.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're definitely seeing that as an issue. And I think there's been a lot of great surveys done really around this topic about the buyer behavior. And really now this is now the selling zone, which is shrunk, and it's shrinking probably every year now. It's shrinking even further, where the buyer is now more self-sufficient. And like in our personal lives, people are now buying cars from Carvana without going to a dealership anymore. They don't want to meet a rep. They want to buy a high-value item. And we're definitely seeing that in the B2B world. I mean, over 70% of buyers now will spend $50,000 research it themselves, buy it themselves without necessarily seeing a rep. And about 11% apparently will now spend $500,000, which is a very big ticket item, again, without engaging a rep. So I'm a Brit, so I don't understand American football very well, but I observe obviously that the kicker role in American football, where you're on the field for a very short amount of time and you've got to make a maximum impact because you've only got one job to do. You're not playing the whole game. And I think that's a good analogy, I think, for the sales rep here, where there's a game going on and we're just on the field for a very short amount of time, and we've got to make the most of that. We've got to add real value during that during our time on the field. Any other thoughts on that, Kaleb, before we move on to sort of digging into the demo? And
yeah, and I mean, this really kind of stood out to me. I mean, 5% that I have with my customers. So instead of calling them up and asking for an order every time, I really have to bring value to every conversation that I have with them. So again, once we get into the demo, you'll kind of see everything that a sales rep will have at their fingertips, to just prepare them much more for when they go into a conversation with their customer, to really maximize that 5% that they're only getting with them.
Yeah, no, it's definitely become a thing. So again, just setting up, we're going to go in the demo here. We're going to be really focusing on, there's two halves of a sales equation. I'm really simplifying things here. Is we got we would call soft data, which is our opinions, our contacts, our notes, our pipeline, our tasks, our workflow around our customer engagement. But then, in manufacturing, distribution, wholesale, it's also vital to understand the hard data, the transactional side of the business. What is the customer buying? What are they not buying? What should they buy based on their previous buying patterns? And what other customers are buying of the same type? So today's session is really focusing on this side of the equation, rather than obviously in the context of obviously a full 360 view. But this is where we're going to be leaning during the demo today. And we'd just like to share a couple of quick stories here. This is the partnership here with Faye. Has been very long served with sugar, and we're bringing Sales Eye now into the toolkit here. And here's an example of a customer that's been using both Sugar Serum and Sales Eye separately For over 13 years. This is FSI. They're a 100 salesperson distributor of office supplies based out of Charlotte. And again, their EVP, Beth Freeman, is really saying this is the best of both worlds. Combining that hard and soft data together in one tool is really where the future value lies now, and to make selling easier, for sales reps who are in these high volume B2B markets. Now, again, most people have a prejudice that when you deploy a new technology, it's going to take a long time to deploy, and it's going to be a bit of a drama. Again, we're very disruptive with that model and go for very rapid delivery, rapid time to value. And this is an example of a long-term sugar customer. It's in the electrical and industrial space. Again, a sizable operation EIS based out of Atlanta. And they've deployed SalesEye into their business. And again, Adil Ahmed is really pointing out here that the massive time to value bonus here and being able to deliver in less than a month versus often projects taking several months or even years. So again, that's a real key part here. So if anybody on the call here wants to grow sales in 2024, we could actually have you up and running by the end of the year, driving value into Q4. Again, a different example here. This is actually using the same data, but in a marketing context. This is a customer of ours here who's used SalesEye to find marketing plays and segmented very highly targeted sniper rifle marketing campaigns. Again, very quick results in the first 60 days, getting nearly $4 million worth of upsell. Reactivating dormant accounts was a big part of their agenda. So actually target customers that had bought previously but stopped buying. Again, using SalesEye to find those customers, and also getting pretty exceptional open and click-through rates on their marketing. So the value is selling more, getting quick wins, quick value. So there's 3 examples there of customers using this technology today. Now, before we jump into the demo, we're just going to set the scene a bit on data, because I've mentioned this hard data. Now, that is sourced from your ERP system, and we've got links to pretty much every ERP system on the planet, from the big enterprise systems down to your regional vertical market players, through Sage, through QuickBooks. So pretty much whatever you're using, that would be the source data that we would be leveraging, and then bringing that into the SalesEye Sugar environment to drive this revenue intelligence and to enable your salespeople to be successful. And I know, Kaleb, you've had a lot of experience of data integrations over the years, and and I know that's sometimes can be a drama. So I don't know if you want to perhaps share just a few thoughts on that before we jump into the demo here.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about like a traditional kind of ERP integration to a CRM, I mean, we're really either using kind of APIs or CSV file uploads into the CRM. And the data is really just being pushed into, as rows of data, related to an account. So to be able to bring up one account and see the rows of data of what someone's purchased, when they've purchased it, the amount that they purchased it for, and for a sales rep to kind of go through that and identify different trends or what product goes good with the next product. It takes a lot of time to just kind of analyze, all of that data. Whereas with this kind of new age of an integration, which we're talking about here with SalesEye, we're putting that data into a CRM. We're making it interactive for the sales rep, and then we're also giving them actionable insights for things that they have to do, which could help them sell more. So it's kind of a good segue kind of into Kevin jumping into to the demo to kind of show you what the power that SalesEye is.
Yeah, thanks, Kaleb. Yeah, and Kaleb, as I go through this, please coach me or steer me in any areas based on your experience of working with hundreds of customers in this sector. So just want to verify that you can see my screen right now. So I'm actually just jumping into a Sugar dashboard. So this would be, I'm going to take this through 3 different job roles over the next 20 minutes, where I'm going to be, first of all, a salesperson. How do I help a salesperson to be successful as they're preparing for a call with a customer? Then I'm going to be a sales manager. How do I look at my whole team, my whole business unit, see how they're performing? How can I help coach my team to be successful? Again, leveraging data. And then we talked about a marketing opportunity to use this data to drive very successful marketing campaigns. I'm going to touch on that as well. Now, I'm not going to get an opportunity to cover every possible use case in 20 minutes. This is going to be a bit of a sprint here. We're going to be skimming the surface. And I would definitely recommend, for anybody that thinks this could help, or they're at least intrigued enough to actually want to dive in a bit deeper, to take a personal session, where we'll be able to go in, talk about your particular use cases, your sales challenges, and how we could apply. So this will be very generic, deliberately, but as a follow-up, we'd encourage you, potentially to reach out to Kaleb and the team and take a full demo, which could take about an hour or so. So I'm going to just say be that salesperson first of all. So I've just logged in. I've got a typical Sugar dashboard here. This is highly configurable to my particular requirements. So I've got my pipeline, my sales forecast, my top accounts, outstanding quotes, an account health score. So I've got some typical wake up scenarios to get me going here first thing in the morning. Now what I'm seeing here now is some alerts. Now these alerts have been driven by off the ERP data. So this is where Sales is acting like a radar. It's looking at the performance of my customers, and it's pinging tripwires if the customer's behavior changes either positively or negatively. So in this example, I've got some cross-sell alerts where I've got some recommendations for the customers buying product A but not buying product B. I've got customers who are churning, so they're spending less than previously. They could have actually totally lapsed. I've got customers with gaps. Now this is in a manufacturing distribution context, would be the white space, where the customer's buying, I was selling auto parts, they're buying everything from me, but they don't buy braking. And that's a category everybody buys. If they're not buying it from me, they're buying it from a competitor. So that's an immediate sales clue that would help me to have an actionable conversation. So the idea is to push, as I mentioned earlier, to the salesperson. And I can now see a customer here that I'll perhaps want to go and dive into in a little bit more depth. So I just tap on my customer. Now I'm going to get my usual CRM support here, where I know my previous sales calls, my contacts, my notes, my tasks, my pipeline. So all of that's going to be available to me here. But now what I'm now seeing is this customer's buying patterns. So this is the ERP data now presented in a very simple, actionable format, which again saves me a ton of time preparing. So I'm going to get my headline sales numbers, and these are simple example dashboards. You can configure these to be the dashboards you want to see, on your screen. But I've got my category breakdown, my profitability dial. I might want to see my sales comparison. So how are we trending in the customer? So overall, I'm down $500,000 in this customer. They're still buying from me. I've just got a lot of erosion of the customer. I might want to see this customer's spend compared to other similar customers. So in this case, I'm selling auto parts. I'm visiting a car repair shop, and I can see what is this car repair shop buying compared to other similar customers. I can see where my penetration is below the average. So far we're getting a bit of a warm up here, as a sales rep, just before we go into the call. But a key button for me is going to be this one, which is now where we're driving AI-driven insights, to the salesperson. So I've saved hours of time preparing the hard way, going through, my Power BI tool, my spreadsheets, my reports. And basically what we're doing here is we're finding the nuggets and we're just serving them up. So in this case, I can see the customer's down, on the braking category. There's a gap. They're buying cooling, but don't buy radiators. Everybody buys radiators. They're buying power tools, don't buy hand tools. I've got a brand switch recommendation. So in this case, even the lowest tech salesperson in your business, by making one click, no stuff. They can walk in the door. How's Mary and the kids? Did you see the game last night? And where you're buying your hand tools from? You're not buying them from me. So I'm having a data-driven conversation, with zero effort, no friction. There's no work to do. I'm being spoon-fed. One of my customers calls this a sales caddy, in the same way a caddy would, just say, "Hey Kevin, play a 5-iron, watch out for the bunker, green sloping." We're doing the same thing here. We're serving the salesperson with great information, so they can now focus on the shot. So I walk in the door and I know what I'm going to talk about on this call, rather than just say shoot the breeze about the sports. So that's level one impact, which is giving me the ability to always have an agenda. Great for ramping up a new rep. If I'm a new rep on the territory, ramp time for a rep can take months sometimes. Whereas I could join your firm today and make a pretty dangerous sales call on my first call just by being pushed and prompted and alerted on this customer's behavior. Kaleb, any thoughts on that before I sort of dig a bit deeper now?
Yeah, I mean, I always do have to kind of compare this back to just that traditional way of doing kind of an ERP integration, whereas if I'm working with Shawnee service and if I scroll down to the sub panels, I would then have to comb through lines and lines of data and tons of different products that Shawnee service has purchased with us. But with this, I mean, I could go right to this campaigns tab and it could tell me that, breaking is down, 20% for this customer, or, they haven't bought this product in X amount of time. So it's actually going to tell me what I need to do. And if I wanted to drill in a little bit further to actually see each individual product line, I can go into those other tabs there to see like the sales comparison.
Yeah.
And I can see the spend mix analysis compared to other customers. So for those of your customers on the line or people on the line that just are selling tons of products, just think of how much of a bear that is for sales reps to have to go through all the different products that you sell to your customers, and then come up with a way to kind of sell more to them. But again, this is just like presenting all of that just on a simple, easy to use dashboard right inside of the Sugar interface. So we're just driving adoption in the CRM, and then we're telling the sales reps what they have to do to make more money.
Yeah.
Really think
that's a key point there, Carl. I think actually driving adoption, we've definitely seen that with our joint customers where the sales rep, if they have to leave the CRM tool to go off somewhere else to get their data, that immediately takes them away from using the CRM tool. Whereas here it's all on one page. Everything I need is available. So so it locks me in here. It adds value. So therefore I feel more encouraged to fill in my core reports, get my boss happy because I'm getting value back. So we're trading with the sales rep to a level. So the first thing is wake up the sales, give me the agenda, give me the actionable talking points. Now, another big pain in the butt for salespeople is producing business reviews. Now, typically, again, I'm going to go and see a major customer. I've got to pull a bunch of data or go to an IT data guy to do it for me. We've created a tool here we call a snapshot. And actually, the snapshot allows a sales rep, with one click, just to press generate, to actually produce a powerful on-brand presentation deck, to present to the customer. And here's an example here how this might look. So again, it takes all of the ERP data, turns it into a presentation, in a PowerPoint deck. So I can start to look at different views here, gaps in the customer, their favorite products, what they bought recently, monthly trends. That spend mix analysis is also in the deck here, so I can ask consultative questions. So it's creating a tremendous value for the customer call, but saving me probably 2 hours of time in preparation for the call. I now focus on the message of the call rather than the mechanics of building my business review. So again, a major win there for salespeople, to actually make that easy and simple. I can also do some pre-production. I can change the colors, change the slides, save my template. But that was just a one-click point and shoot. So
there's some other kind of key I think positive things to kind of add to that on top of just saving probably 2 or 3 hours of time. I mean, it also saves like the frustration of a sales rep. So think of a sales rep having to pull all those numbers out, put them into a PowerPoint presentation. It's just frustrating. Makes you kind of want to quit and not do any more work for the day. And it also kind of saves marketing too. So obviously you don't want every single individual sales rep going out there and putting together their own decks and having old logos and things like that. So just having one standardized deck is obviously going to save marketing a ton of time and backlash from you putting out old materials that you didn't approve of.
Yeah, you're definitely going to see some. If you have 100 reps to produce a business review, you're going to see some pretty ugly business reviews produced that aren't on brand. You're right, and pretty clunky. Whereas this is going to create an on-brand framework that's going to add value. And we've definitely seen our customers use this very successfully in those consult to differentiate from competitors by producing this data so simply and easily. And even on a trade show, a customer comes on your booth at a trade show, you can press one click on your iPad or mobile and produce a review, and then just chat to them with some real data without having to do a bunch of preparation. So it allows the salesperson to be very spontaneous when they're engaging with customers, because we talked earlier, you've only got a very limited window, and you've got to add value. So just watching the clock here, so I'm going to just move on a little bit here to the next level. So far we've looked at the alerts. That's my agenda. We've done the business review, which again would give us the talking points again at a deeper level. Now, third level is to actually go into the data itself. And as Kaleb was saying, sometimes you need to get into the weeds a little bit. And again, without it making it clunky or complicated, a sales person who wants to be more forensic could do that. I could just press go here, and I can now start to dive in, and start to mine the data at a richer level. So I wanted to see, we saw the customer was leaking a bit there, so I want to compare the variance between, say, 2 years or 2 quarters. I can now dive in very quickly and easily and see here, where are we losing the business? So we're down, nearly $500,000. Where is it bleeding? Where are we up? Where are we down in this customer? And if I want to mine that data even deeper, I want to take that cooling and dry belt issue there. I could now drive to my into the data points from the ERP. So it could be I want to go to a different brand or manufacturer. I might want to go straight to the bottom of the line here and go straight down to the exact items I've lost. So we're now down at the SKU or item level, and we're seeing exactly where we lost business in the customer. So if I need to get into the detail, I can do that very quickly and very easily without being a rocket scientist. And we've got lots of out of the box views here that cover everything a salesperson might need in this preparation scenario. So I want to go and see every single item this customer's bought from me this year. In this case, I've gone in and I've ranked 1,400 items in a couple of seconds, and I'm as well as showing the dollar value. I'm looking at number of units sold, average price, transaction count. So I've got a lot of great valuable data here that's just one click away, which again I can save it, I can export it. So again, just saving time if I need to get into that a bit more detail. So that's the underlying foundational data. So this isn't just presentational; it is actually giving you the full ability to drill in as well. So that's a quick look at the sales role. So I typically go in, execute my sales call, come out with some opportunities, hopefully some orders, and then I can then just quickly update my call reports here in Sugar as to what I achieved, what I'm going to do next, add something to my pipeline, and I'm going to sell those radiator units. So I've now got that full flow from pre-call, execute the call, post-call, all in a very elegant full package. So I don't have to go anywhere else to run my business as a sales rep. Okay, so that was the rep role. Just going to switch gears here just for, I was watching the clock so we don't overrun. So again, I mentioned we're going to cover perhaps being a manager as well. So a manager, again, has that same ability to slice and dice we saw the rep use on a customer, but in a broader context. I've got the ability now to slice my product, my branch, my sales rep, any combination of data, including some CRM fields. I want to see customers of a certain type, customers of a certain size. I'm able to analyze any data point we can bring into the engine here. So we say, for example, I was a sales manager, we're having a sales meeting right now. I might want to see how my branch is performing. So I just tap on the bubble here that says branch, and then I'm going to be able to quickly analyze, okay, overall, I'm having a pretty stellar year. I'm up to 3.5 million, but I've got some weakness here in my central branch. And I might want to dig into that, so I can look at my central branch, and I might want to say, okay, well, I wonder how my reps are doing in the central branch. Who's causing that bit of softness there? So it looks like Kurt and Vicky are my prime offenders. So Kurt's down, Vicky's down. I want to look at Kurt's performance. So again, I want to say, okay, how's Kurt doing here? Are there any particular categories of product that Kurt's needs coaching on? So I'm now seeing exactly where Kurt's weak is on suspension, body, HVAC. I want to look at HVAC sales. Let's go and look at that now by customer. So I'm able to drill down into the customers and see, okay, which customers has Kurt lost on that particular category. And you can notice that breadcrumb trail is building for me. So at any point I could jump back to a different rep, a different branch, different category, different customer. So again, I can just keep drilling and want to go and see, okay, which brands does that customer buy in the HVAC category? want to go and look at that brand, and now go down to the item or SKU level. I can just keep drilling until I get the answer I'm looking for. So I can see, okay, I need to give Kurt some training on AC compressors for that customer, to help him build sales in that brand. So that the sales leader can get to any piece of data they need quickly and easily, again, without having to rely. Most sales managers are ex-salespeople, so when they get promoted, they don't suddenly become tech savvy. Yeah, so we're trying to keep this really simple, really easy, very, very engaging, for a sales manager to be able to get to key information. Now we know what we can use the Sugar CRM to look at sales pipeline and sales forecast, but here we're looking at the actual sales numbers. In this case, I've just stack ranked my 61 reps. That was one click. Again, I can save that as a favorite. But if I want to look at, Danilo here in a bit more detail, I can then go and say, okay, show me every single product Danilo sold this year. How many products is he selling? So he sold 2,500 products. Okay, those control arms are his top seller. I wonder who he sold them to and at what price. So I can actually nail down any sort of sales questions I have as a leader. So 23 customers bought that one product from Danilo this year, and I can see, the instant delivery, Google search speeds. I'm getting sales answers leveraging my ERP data. So that would again be another good use case. Would be inside of Sugar here. I'm providing all that data now to my sales leadership team. Now a salesperson could do the same thing on the whole territory, to be fair as well. Okay, watching the clock. So final use case I mentioned we're going to cover would be marketing. So most people, manufacturing distribution have tried to do some marketing, so where they'll typically have promotions or offers which go out to everybody, because segmenting your marketing can be quite challenging. And again, using technology here, we're able to build these micro audiences. This is one I built this morning for this demo here. So in this case, I've targeted my top 1,000 spenders who are not buying brakes, because everybody buys brakes. So they're spending with me. So it could be they spent more than $20,000, don't buy brakes, or they buy brakes but don't buy brake rotors, or the brakes are sale down 20%. So whatever you can think of in English that would be a sales scenario, it takes about a minute to build one of these. Pretty much anything you can think of that is a marketing campaign or promo. So out of my top 1,000 customers, I've got 51, which is a pretty significant number, that are buying a commodity item that everybody buys. So straight away, I've got my target audience here. So those 51 people are now in my radar. They're in my target zone. So what I can now do is generate sales activity around that. I could create a marketing push into a marketing automation tool. So and again, I know, Caleb, you've got a bunch of customers using different marketing automation tools. But what we're doing here is like a relay race. We're creating the first run of the relay is I'm carrying the baton, I'm passing it to the marketing automation for execution to run the next level. But what are you seeing out there, Caleb, in terms of marketing tools right now? What are people typically using?
Yeah, I mean, we do work with a number of different marketing tools. I'd say, Sugar Market obviously would be a pretty simple integration here with the Sugar CRM. So just taking this data out of here, importing that into Sugar Market as kind of a distribution list, running an email sequence or an email nurture campaign into all of them, just with additional details about this specific product, maybe a promotion that you might have on it, and then kind of pairing that with actions inside of the CRM, which you can do inside of Sugar Market, I think could be really valuable. So if one of these customers, Ameridata, opens an email or clicks on a certain link in one of those emails for a promotion, automatically trigger a task inside of the CRM for sales to follow up with them. So you're kind of doing that automation in the background, and then you're automating and creating those follow-ups for sales at the right time, when somebody's opened an email, clicked on it, or gone to your website. So I think with that, this is a very low cost campaign that we would run within something like Sugar Market, and it could really have a really substantial kind of ROI in a really quick time.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and I think it's about we looked at sort of ROI a little bit earlier, didn't we? This is actually the ROI slide I was focusing on. This is purely using that campaigning approach, which is finding those little those segments, those target audiences, not doing a one big campaign every month. You could do a bunch of campaigns every single day. Also, potentially creating then a very focused call list for your inside sales groups to call on. So again, just directing sales, pushing sales, making it actionable. Definitely activating dormant accounts is a great idea. The customer's bought previously, they'll buy again with the right promotion. So, but yeah, to your point, if you wander into, I wander into Auto Paint Co, that tripwire will pop for me as well. So therefore, we're now joining sales and marketing together. So we can run a marketing campaign, but then create a call list for our sales team, or the salesperson wanders into that customer on their milk run. They will know that this customer's received the promo. Did you get the braking promo? So I'm then sort of connecting the dots then to create great efficiency between sales and marketing. So that, again, another potential use case there. But we're obsessed with really making sure the salesperson doesn't get blindsided by a customer leaving. We always give them the early warnings. Sometimes customers, don't just disappear; they drift away or they erode. So you lose a category to a competitor, and the competitor digs in, takes out more and more business slowly, and you're still trading with the customer, and you might, not notice that they're still buying, so you're not overly concerned. But again, this will pick up any change in behaviors that might be indicative of a competitor stealing your customer or you're losing share of customer. So this push is fundamental. And another way we're pushing is also potentially this is again, me jumping into my Gmail box here. And again, if I've got a lower tech salesperson who really doesn't, isn't living their life inside of the CRM, we still want to make sure we don't miss anything. So in this case, I'm just pushing a promotion to the sales team through email, saying, "Hey, Kevin, you got 50 customers that spend $20,000, didn't buy brakes. Here they are." And if I click on them, it'll take me into the customer detail we saw earlier. So again, just driving behaviors, making sure salespeople are adopting, and making sure we don't miss anything. So okay, so hopefully that all made sense. So we covered 3 key roles there. So we covered the salesperson, making sure that I'm very well prepared, very well researched. I can sell more on every call because I know, the gaps in the customer. I know the cross sells. I know if the customer's leaking away. So I'm able to have value-added conversations on every call. I'm going to save a bunch of time and beyond brand when I do my business reviews, with the customer. And I'm living inside of Sugar. So my updates, my follow-ups, my tasks, my notes, it's seamless. I'm not having to go off to different tools to do different things. So the rep is now got the tools to make sure they're weapons to make sure they're very effective. We talked about the sales manager role, where I need data too. I need to know what's going on. I've got a big sales team, a lot of moving parts, a lot of noise. Okay, where do I need to spend my management time for the greatest impact? I can get to that information really quickly. And we also looked at driving marketing campaigns, marketing promos to drive high value returns on our marketing efforts. So we're not just spraying the market. We are getting very high hit rates and return on investment on our marketing. So hopefully that was helpful in setting the scene. Again, just repeating the recommendation to potentially look at a broader demo now. It's more personalized to your needs rather than say just being very generic today. But hopefully those use cases we covered would be universally popular, and we can hopefully help anybody on the call here to be in the right place, right time, having those conversations. So just to sort of top off this section before we move to Q&A, so when should we do this? Hearing a lot about AI, you hear a lot about machine learning and how it could impact the sales world. And I think key is that it's not a threat as far as we're seeing it. In fact, I saw one ad for a couple of the product was now. We said, sales up, AI is taking is going to take my job, and the punchline was to the next level. So it's actually really an assistant. It is a caddy for a salesperson or a sales leader. Every presentation on the planet has always got a Gartner slide in it. So it's certainly tech industry. So here's our Gartner slide. So this is now mainstream stuff. This isn't spooky science fiction anymore. These are practical applications about AI machine learning can help sales organizations today to drive sales and value. So I just encourage you to get on board, come and see us, talk to us, see where this might fit into your business plans for this year and next year. And I think, if you leave it too late, competitors will be ahead of you. So please talk and dig in, explore this a bit further. So hopefully that was helpful. I think I'm going to pass back to Gisette now, who's going to talk us through some Q&A sessions here. So back to you, Gisette, to pick up any questions we received on the Q&A side.
All right. So yes, we have gotten to our Q&A section of the presentation. As a reminder, if you have any questions for our speakers, please type them into either the chat or the questions bar, whatever your preference. It looks like we've had a few come through during the presentation, so I'm going to start there and then we'll just run through these. So number one that came through is, how long does it take for something like this to implement, and how quickly can we expect to see measurable results?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, as I mentioned earlier, the quote from a deal from EIS really spoke to that point, which is, he was live and operational in less than a month, from saying, let's go. He was actually, his VP of sales had tasked him with finding a technology that could cross-sell. They were acquiring a number of different companies, and they wanted to cross-sell across the product ranges. And then they wanted to do it now, not wait a year to build something, to do that. So he was under pressure to deliver quickly. He came to actually the Sugar Connected event in Austin, saw the Sales Eye presentation, went back, got approval, they signed up, and within 30 days they were driving value into their sales teams. Now, it isn't always 30 days, depending on availability of IT people at the customer and the project priority. Might take 60 days, but this is not a big drama project. It's a pre-built application. Everything I showed you today isn't a blank sheet where you got to build it. It's all built. It's an application, not a toolkit. We just need that raw material data, and then it just drives value from there. So short answer is, plan for 30 to 60 days would be a typical delivery cycle to get this operation. So you potentially could get this operational to hit it impacts positively your Q4 numbers.
All right. How does this integrate with existing ERP systems, and what level of customization is required?
Yeah. Again, this has been deliberately engineered. Our business model was to disrupt what Kaleb talked about earlier, where sometimes integrations can become pretty intricate and become a very involved part of a project. When we only work with manufacturing distribution businesses, so we worked out that the key raw materials already existed. They don't need to be custom built. So I'm going to simplify this in the interest of time. But all we need is a raw customer master file, a product file, and the transactions. Now, those typically are outputs that already exist for other purposes, for driving it into a data lake, or for producing internal reporting. But typically we just repurpose existing outputs, and then we map them inside of our tool and have the ability then to transform that data to make it useful in the sales world. So very basic data needs, which drives into that speed of delivery, because you don't have to go away and program a bunch of stuff to feed Sales Eye. You can just give us your current customer master file export, and we'll pick out the fields that we need to drive into our integration. So it's deliberately simple, to actually get us up and running quickly.
What kind of training or support is provided to ensure our sales team can effectively use the tools?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully you saw in the little demo there that it's pretty easy to use. So it's very intuitive. It alerts you, it pushes to you. You don't need to engage, at a deep level to get value back. But we'd still recommend some coaching and some training. And our best model typically is to do find some champions in the customer and do some internal trainer sessions where we'll teach a number of key individuals to be the Sales Eye champions, so they can actually in their sales meetings can show the other guys how to do it. We provide a whole bunch of material as well, and in the application you can switch on some in-app training events, so they'll pop up and steer you and guide you when you got the training wheels on. So, but it's really easy to get operational. Most people can pick this up very intuitively, and actually, just they see the go button, they press go, and it digs them deeper. You can't break it. It's a simple application. So we're doing clever stuff behind the scenes to deliver very simple front end for the salesperson. But yeah, there is training, both typically online training. We'll do in-person classes for sales champions and train the training if necessary, if that's a preference. But yeah, the idea is to make sure no sales guy gets left behind, and we can quickly get value from even the first training session.
All right, I think we have time for one more question. All right, and that is, how does SalesEye help ensure that our sales strategies are aligned with evolving buyer behaviors?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that is a key question, and I think because buying behavior does change, both macro and micro and individual customers, behavior will be changing based on competitor activity and things going on in their world. The key is the monitoring of the customer. Now there are basic sales plays that we're tracking, but we're also one of the benefits of AI machine learning is it learns. So if a customer his behavior is trending in a certain way, or there's some trigger that might not be obvious to the human. I mean, humans can sometimes be confused by pattern changes. For example, an example could be, say I was selling office supplies and the customer bought a new boardroom table. Now, that would be a high ticket item. That might be a $15,000 item. Now, that might look to me on the surface like the customer's growing, but I might have lost all of the toner and the paper and the janitorial supplies business, and that might not be obvious. Whereas the beauty of having this technology is the underlying trends or the subtleties, the outliers have been tracked as well. So that even though the customer appears to be growing, we're going to trigger behavior that is, you're losing volume here. They're buying less often. They used to buy every 20 days. It's been 23 days. What's going on here? So I think a salesperson can't track that. They might track the top couple of customers, but if you've got 100 customers, 200 customers, you can't keep track of every transaction. So the technology will always be learning, always be adapting to anything the customer does. It's like a life support system plugged into every customer 24/7. And if their heart rate blips, you know about it. So I think it's really helping scale, potentially what a salesperson could track, as a human. And it doesn't sleep, doesn't take vacations. It's always looking, always tracking. Probably a long answer to a short question, but apologies for that. But hopefully that makes sense.
Got to be thorough, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
all right.
So how are we doing today?
Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have left for today. If we didn't answer your questions live on the line, we'll be sure to follow up after our program. In addition, we're going to be reaching out to help schedule your complimentary ROI analysis so you can see firsthand how SalesEye can transform the way that you sell. On behalf of Faye and all of our presenters, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.
Fantastic. Thanks, Suzette.